Well, good morning. It's Sunday morning. It is March the 22nd, and we are now 1 week into a world, a situation where worshiping in a church has just not been an option. For the safety of others and for some of our own sakes, we've put off gathering in large groups so that the most vulnerable among us don't get sick. That is a good thing to do. It has meant that we Anglicans particularly are at sort of a strange place. This tradition, our tradition, is one that depends highly, that focuses very closely on the sacraments particularly. So what are we to do as the people of bread and wine, of the presence of Christ in gathering together and in sacramental worship to do when going into a church simply is not an option? Well, the two things that I've seen going on are waiting for something good that we can't have right now, and finding other ways. For the waiting, we will hear a little bit from Lisa this week. In fact, if you scroll, I think, up 2 videos on our webpage, you'll see Lisa's homily, and she's going to talk about the Church, our Mother, and the sacraments, and how we might participate in them spiritually, and also how we wait until the good day when we can come together again and celebrate them. More from Lisa. I'll let her talk more about that. In the meantime, we've been forced into sort of an interesting space where you and I have been forced to find ways of being the church without coming together. And that might just be a good place to be. A temporary good place to be. This isn't something I'd want to do forever, but for now, I particularly have been forced to find ways to care for you, to care for one another, to grow my faith, to share my faith, and to share our faith together, one another, without coming together. One of the ways that we're going to do that is by showing this video, but that's only a partial solution. There are other things that you can do. To grow spiritually, you might think about reading. You might think about watching things like this. You might think about praying. You might think about using this time to take time alone with no one listening, with no one watching or judging, and talk to God and say whatever it is you'd like to say, with no thought of judgment, with no thought of being evaluated. You can pray, and God does listen. And I would encourage you, while we can't be together, to take time to be with God this way. The sacraments are one way that we encounter God. We can also encounter God through prayer. I hope that in this time, maybe without the sacraments that are so important to us, you can discover and grow in prayer. There are other things that you can do. You can phone one another. You can find ways of reaching out, because there are plenty of people that need to hear from us, that because of this situation that are lonely, that because of this situation are feeling isolated, that because of this situation would love to hear from someone who cares, and you can do that. Find ways to reach out and show you care for those people. That is another way that you can, without coming and joining in a worship service, express the love of God. One other thing I should say, if you at any time feel that you need something, that you need prayer, please tell me, and we will pray for you. If you feel that you need a human contact, a voice, a caring voice, I'll be calling around. You may have heard from me already. Please don't hesitate to ask me or someone else in your church to be a part that community, that loving community that you are together. And when this is on, and perhaps even now for a little bit, I would love to hear the kinds of things that you're doing. I'd love to hear the ways that you are showing care for one another. I'd love to hear some of the struggles that you're having, and I'd love to hear some of the joy that you're finding. If you would like to share those, you can call me. You know the way to call me. My email is posted on this site, and I'm sure you're able to contact other people in your church, and I would love to hear that you are speaking to one another, not only as friends, but as Christians. And I look forward to hearing from you. We'll see you soon.